and a warm welcome to a new episode of Mediterranean Legacy Talks. My name is René, and today we're diving into a subject that touches so many of us: burnout and stress. Whether you are a business leader, entrepreneur, or someone who's always on the go, stress can build up and take its toll. But what if there is a Mediterranean way to resilience, one that's both scientifically grounded and deeply human? Okay, today's guest, Professor Bruno Ribeiro, a doctor of psychology and professor at the University of Murcia, with over 2 decades of academic and clinical expertise in neuroscience and cognitive science. He has collaborated with leading institutions worldwide and is known for his research on a healthy brain function and how simple habits can restore balance. As a clinical psychologist, we believe that movement, meditation, and gratitude are the most elegant forms of cognitive renewal. And before we begin, a quick reminder: together with ZEM and the Rijksde Luxury Listing Spain is organizing a special event on the 24th of April here at the Wellness Clinic, ZEM. For more information and registration, visit luxurylisting.es or therijksdebelgen.com. So whether you are seeking inspiration, practical tools, or just a moment of calm, this episode is for you. So let's get started. So welcome, Bruno.
Thank you, my pleasure, René.
And a very welcome. So for this meeting, you for the first time, could you briefly introduce yourself and tell us about your profession, your professional focus and stress, burnout, or resilience?
Of course. So, first of all, my first profession, let's say like that, I'm a father of two. That's my main occupation.
Of course.
So, then I'm a professor in the university, as you know, in neuroscience. And I also combine with this, let's say, clinical area, trying to help people to unblock the full potential of the brain. This, I think it starts with me having probably 4 or 5 years old. And I asked to my father, so Dad, what is the most important organ in the body? And we thought that was the heart. But in that same year, I'm Portuguese, so we have the first heart transplant in Portugal.
Oh, okay.
So that was really famous in the news. So I asked my dad again, so Dad, if we can transplant the heart, that means that that's not the most important. So from that moment, probably I live better as a cardiologist, but now I focus on the brain, and since that I knew that I will work with the brain. So I have done my studies in clinical psychology, then my PhD. As you mentioned, I've worked as a visiting professor in lots of different institutions around the world, trying always see which way we can maximize the full potential of our brain. It's true that initially I start with the basic studies using mice and rats, and since that moment I realized that we really have a very beautiful and creative way, knowing exactly how and how much we will be able to improve and, let's say, cure the damage that we have been doing to our brain. So here I am trying to bring stuff from the laboratory
Inside
to our patients, to our guests. More than patients, we are guests, visitors that come to really unblock the full potential. So this is a journey that is a really pleasure.
You brought the science and the knowledge to them.
Absolutely.
That's perfect. So next question: burnout and stress are everywhere, but the science behind them is often misunderstood. Could you explain in a simple term what actually happens in the body and mind during chronic stress or burnout?
So, first idea that I want to share with you and everyone that is listening to us is that stress is not something bad. Stress is something that protects us. So let's imagine an animal that is calm in a very beautiful place like the one that we have here, and all of a sudden we have a predator that tried to attack him. So he really needs to be active to give the right response, what we call fight or flight response. So he start to run, he fights, he will evaluate what is the best decision. The question is that after 5, 10, 20 minutes, 1 hour, it will go back again to a
normal heartbeat and everything.
exactly, we'll go back to a normal place in which he will not feel threatening anymore, and the body restores. That's a normal response to stress, very positive, and that save the animal's life. In our case, the question is that we have the same patterns of responses to stress, but humans are able to complicate a little more the equation, that we feel stress all the time. We don't have this acute response, or we have this acute response, but we try to sustain this response over the time. And that's what really damage our brain and our body. That's, for me, one of the biggest causes of early aging. Absolutely, is absolutely connected with the process of aging. So stress, something that protects us. Chronic stress, something that we are not prepared to really feel, or being under this all this pressure. And in some situations, this chronic stress can become a burnout. So usually to have this chronic stress, as you can imagine, from the first response to stress, we will activate our body as much as possible to have all the energy from our body with a focus, fight or flight. But if we continue this in time, when you are running away from a leopard, from a lion, you don't need your, let's say, your immunitary system to be ready, because
to save yourself,
of course, first let's not be injured, then we say So if we are talking in a chronic stressful situation, the immunitary system, an example, will not work correctly. We will have problems with our digestion. We will have problems mobilizing glucose,
or secondary problems, or
absolutely, that they have a purpose, initially a motivation that is save our life, but we are the ones that right now, before I go to sleep, I will think about what I have to pay. I think that my kids need something. I didn't reply to some emails from our guests. We need to change the wheels from the car.
It's like a sort of an Excel in your brain. All the little parts and blocks filled in with something.
Absolutely. Sometimes, to explain to our guests what is really happened, I ask them to think about a computer that have lots of windows open.
Exactly.
So we have all the time lots of windows open.
You can't see them, but they are open. You know that.
Exactly. So imagine that. Try to go to sleep with all these windows open. This is very difficult. It's very difficult. So in the case of burnout, we have other feelings that are coming across that usually are related to, I'm doing a big effort and I'm not being recognized.
So
Okay, we need to include in this equation this lack of recognition from the outside. Initially, burnout was, let's say, a concept very related to people that is working. Now we know that it's not only that.
Yeah, that's the only burnout I know, actually.
But some
overworked.
But sometimes burnout can happen in a wife that is not working, because she's doing an effort and she's not being recognized by the effort that she's doing. So in this situation, so we have, let's go back to stress, chronic stress, burnout. So in the stress, we have this response from our body, adrenaline, then we have
Endorphin or whatever it's like.
cortisol
Yeah.
that rises up. And if we stay for longer in these very intense emotions under stress, then perhaps our cortisol just drop, and we have a situation that we call adrenal fatigue. Our body is no longer able to give the right response. So we have the three scenarios, and the three scenarios should be coped in different ways. Make sense so far, René?
Absolutely.
So this chronic stress, better saying, burnout is not only that you are completely exhausted. It's not only that.
Or
You can be exhausted, completely exhausted,
yeah.
but if you have this motivation, if you have this purpose, and if you feel recognized, you will keep.
You can stretch out.
You will keep pushing, and you will not go to a burnout.
Really understandable.
Exhaustion different from burnout, but sometimes you are not doing so much effort, but the guys that really need recognition, that can be family. Now we use also this concept, family as someone that can give us recognition, but usually our superiors in terms of an organization. If they don't recognize us, we can go to this situation in which we feel guilty, we don't have motivation, and we go in this cycle that usually we will need lots of an effort to come back. You know, the recognition from our superiors is not related to money.
No, I believe in that too.
Sometimes a good word.
Yeah.
Sometimes
just like you.
Exactly.
Well done. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Just
absolutely.
2, 3 words.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes let's take a coffee with me. Asking about how is your family. So this kind of
very important,
really realistic, really communication,
small
interests,
is big effort.
is what makes really a good leader.
Yeah.
So that's it. Exhaustion is different from burnout and different from chronic stress.
Thank you. ZEM is known for its integrative view of well-being. How does ZEM approach the prevention and treatment of burnout differently from traditional methods?
So what we have here is what neuroscience says exactly the best way to cope with stress and burnout, chronic stress and burnout. That is a 360 degrees approach. We need to take care of body, we need to take care of your mind, and we also need to take care of your emotions or your spirituality. What we are doing here is exactly that. We have a very strong wellness component here, in which my colleagues really make your body relax. That means rebalance autonomic nervous system, sympathetic, parasympathetic, and for that, I think you visit our spa, our wellness. Is really amazing. It's really amazing because if I try to treat you in a conventional way, in which I'm talking about an hospital or a clinic, you'll feel, am I sick? So in this kind of environment, you will feel absolutely supported in a 360 degrees. So the wellness area is amazing.
Beautiful, really.
Unbelievable. In terms of food, the kind of food that we prepare for you, an anti-inflammatory food that restores, and sometimes we have some conversations in terms of specific food to increase some hormones or some neurotransmitters that we know that help you to recover better. And one of the strongest pillar, that is clinic. The clinic area, we have the cutting-edge technology to really rebalance your autonomic nervous system, because this chronic stress will unbalance the way your brain is thinking about and thinking about the world. So just to put an example, I brought another brain. My brain is always with me, but I brought another one. So just let me show you. When we have, you see this tiny area in the middle.
Yes.
So we are talking about the amygdala.
Is that the blue part?
Below the blue part.
Okay, yeah.
So we are talking about an area, we have two, that is constantly active under these burnout situations or chronic stress, trying to find all the time where are the danger. But at the same time, this area, this frontal area that make us different from the other animals, is really foggy, is really slowing down. That's why our patient, our guest says, I really have
think first
brain foggy. So the decisions, really how we analyze the situations, are in this part of the brain, and that's the part that is not working so well.
Okay.
So we know exactly what in the clinic with my colleagues. So we have a very strong component in terms of supplementation. If we think that someone should have some drips, we have an extraordinary doctor that manages this area. But also all little details in your body that are starting to say, hello, stress is here, and your knee have a high inflammation because you were not taking care of you. So there's an absolutely holistic approach to this. From my area, we have Dr. Francisco Mira, that is our director in terms of neurology, in terms of cognition. What we do is using specific treatments to rebalance your body. If I just mentioned that the frontal area is working below what is expected, I can use some stimulation, some electrical stimulation. We are not talking about electroconvulsive therapy, it's not that, but we can stimulate and make the prefrontal cortex.
Can you call this a front part, a sort of a realistic vision of what's happening?
Absolutely.
So first you have anxious, and then you think, slow down, take a look, another look, and then you relax more maybe, or you...
Absolutely, that's exactly that. That's exactly that. So we will stimulate this frontal area to make this area work again in a normal pace, and to make you feel connected again. So then I know that is not very funny to talk about giving a hug to a tree. But what we saw here is that sometimes we need to reconnect with nature.
Yeah.
So you saw where we are. This is amazing. I don't know if you visit our finca.
Not yet, but I live in a similar area in the campo, so I know how that can feel.
The green color, what we call now chromotherapy. So the green color and the blue from the ocean really have an impact on ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because when we are in a huge city, seeing all the times buildings of these gray colors, so the approach is absolutely integrative. And of course, we have some small details that also, just let me remember you, that we live pretty close to a blue zone. This blue zone in Sardinia and other in Greece. And we have some blue zones here, and what we want is to create our own blue zone.
It's my motto in life, to create my own blue zone.
Exactly. So for that, the approach is, as you can see, East and West healing traditions and cutting-edge technology in a 360 degrees approach. That's, I think, what define what we are doing in ZEM Clinic, in ZEM Longevity, to approach this. And then, of course, with this new, that should not be new, but this ultra personalized medicine approach, giving you what you need. Not because I have a treatment available in my clinic, I will
Look in your book.
no. What do you need? If you need this, I'm sorry, you need to do 10 of this, but you don't need to do none of that. So the hyper-personalization of treatments is really what I think is the future. It's not the future, it's the present. That is what we call the medicine 3.0, not the pill for everyone. So let's say
very personally
database in you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So
It's a pleasure.
pleasure. For those watching who feel stress building up, what are some practical steps or habits they can start today to build resilience?
So there's, first of all, if you go to a clinic or if you see an Instagram or if you see an influencer saying that is a magic pill or something magic that will increase your resilience, that doesn't exist. I'm sorry.
You don't believe in that?
No. I really don't believe that one single approach will be able to increase. We really need to work with our guest, with a human in a 360 degrees.
It's like a process. It takes some time to find out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then we have small little things that we know that work. An example, the breathing. Breathing is very important. So we teach our patients 4 to 6. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, and exhale 6 seconds. So managing, because this occurs naturally in our body. When we are more relaxed, we inhale in a less period of time and we exhale in a much longer.
Yeah.
So let's go back, the mind and body connection. Okay, that's, we are talking about the same same body. So if when I'm calm I breathe like this, so I will breathe like this to become calm. So these kind of breathing techniques are very, very good, and we teach this kind of techniques with biofeedback systems in which you can see what you are doing and yes, have some feedback and correcting what you are doing. But also the way you work. You know, we have guests that stay seated in a chair for more than 14 hours. They are constructing empires and they really feel responsible for thousands of families. So sometimes it's not to become rich. Sometimes we have this idea that people that works that much is to become rich. It's not that. It's also the responsibility to other humans and to really support all these families that depend if the business going. So in this case, we teach our guests to every 50 minutes you need to walk a couple of minutes. Something that we know with all these wearables that we are able now to use is that sometimes going from stress to chronic stress to exhaustion or to burnout can be increased. This path can be increased if we don't have enough oxygen in our body. And to have oxygen, I need to move. Absolutely. When you move your legs, you move your heart. When you move your heart, everything is moving. So these kind of situations related to perform, we really work with this with our patients. And then we try here also, that's as you mentioned, a process, really try to find the purpose in life of our patients. This is of our guests. This is something that we really insist in some of our interventions is, what do you think that you are doing here? Not now, but
that's a good question, because you need to think.
Absolutely.
And find out how important you are, or which path you take or not.
Absolutely. This mission will reframe the way you live and the way you cope with your life. And also the way you prioritize things. That's why to your first question, I answered that I'm father first. For me is a priority.
Of course.
Absolutely priority. So sometimes we need to understand what is the priority for those who visit us, and with that we are able to find also in what are the activities that you really disconnect. Something very important to not go from this stress, acute stress, to chronic stress, is to have moments in which you completely disconnect.
Yeah, or stay with one foot in the history of your life or the future. You think the future is the solution, but you need to be here.
Yes,
Right
in the
now.
present, in the present. And sometimes we are not living in the present. So
Many.
here we saw gases changes the expression that they have, asking them when they go to our finca. The finca is farm, to our farm, and they touch and they get grounded, and they so here what is important is some of them also change their faces doing meditation, others going back to activities in our pool. We really need to know for you what makes sense in terms of this connection. Because again, the zebra that was running away from the lion, the zebra knows that once she see a green field with water, she will disconnect and she will not send in the lion.
Yeah, sure.
We need to know where is our paradise. That can be something simple as cooking, something simple as being with friends, something simple as giving you the opportunity
To get yourself out of the comfort zone. Can be negative as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or riding horses.
Well,
That's
I was in horses. It's funny because when my family or friends are coming over from a foreign land, the first days they are in a rush. Day 2, day 3, you can see the difference in. So you can see there are
the
quite
levels
quickly go down. I think it took most of the time a week.
Yes. At least that's why our programs are developed at least for 1 week. Of course, we have some programs for 4 days to really. So do I go to a clinic, to an hotel, to get that someone take care of my health? So sometimes we understand that our guests come for 4 days just to have an immersive
Yeah, sure.
sensation, immersive yes, of what we do. But we really need between 7 and 10 days to really see the changes. So amazing. It's being a pleasure. I don't know if I answered to your question, but at least I'm having so much fun and so much pleasure talking with you.
That's very interesting. And so 5. Yes, it's 5. Question 5, sorry. Many of our viewers are leaders and entrepreneurs. Why is it so important for them to invest in their own well-being, and what impact can it have on their own business and teams? And actually, you told me something about, well done, well, something like that. Compliment to.
It goes in that direction. I was working, collaborating with one of the most strongest groups in social organizations here in Spain, Professor Pedro Gilmonte was the boss of all this. And what we saw when we study how the teams move around the leader, it's really impressed. If the leader is not okay, the entire team is not working well.
Voilà.
Also, sometimes the non-verbal communication is enough to have a great impact in the teams. And then we are talking about the medium teams, and we are talking about the last piece of the structure. So it's really important for our leaders that they take care of themselves, because that will be transmitted to
Absolutely.
to
And
the teams. I really think so. The way we are here, we know that we are using verbal communication, but I think that our communication is much more than the verbal communication. I think that I can see you that you have a very nice skin, nice hair, the posture, you are very calm. This, I don't know, we start to know how, but this reflects on me. So imagine that I'm working for you, the way you present to myself, the way you behave with myself, not only in a visible way, in a tangible way, but I think in future we will know much more about the other way a human can influence another human. So it really makes a great difference. So also is not taking care of yourself if you are in a high position is not a luxury, is mandatory, because if you are well, your team will perform well, and your outcomes will be much
I
better.
think a good environment starts with the leader or parents or both. I believe in that. It starts there.
Absolutely.
If there's something wrong or bad or mean, the whole team will be poisoned.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So more than a luxury is mandatory to really take care of the leaders, and then these will have an impact in the teams.
So if they find out that their teams are not working well or wishful, they
Probably you need to look in the mirror. What is going on with yourself?
Yeah, it starts with you and they don't know. That's the problem. Yeah. Finally, prevention is often overlooked. What do you say to people who don't yet feel burned out, but want to stay healthy and balanced in a long run? Is there
Usually, let's say that is not. We don't have a magical recipe.
no, of course not.
What is good for our body is usually good for our mind, and is also good emotionally for us. So I think probably if we have to talk about something, sleep is absolutely mandatory, that we take care of our sleep. First, we know that right now, during the sleep, our body recovers, restore our brain, and allowed certain hormones to really repair our body. So during the day, if I have a very stressful situation that in some way damage certain organs, some certain tissues in my body, it is during the sleep that I will be able to repair. So let's not reduce sleep because I will sleep when I die. So some guesses.
Oh, yeah,
When I die, I have lots of time to sleep. That's not like that. If you want to live longer and better, what we know from science and not what we know from blue zones, you need to sleep at least between 7 and 8 hours per day. We can have a smartwatch, a wearable, a ring, whatever, to really give us feedback about our sleep, if we are having enough sleep, but also a good sleep quality.
And are you talking about sleep 8 hours in one piece, or is it okay to split it up like siesta? Because
usually the siesta should not be more than 20 to 30 minutes.
Power nap.
Yes, the power nap. We think that's
It's good to know because I love siesta.
okay. So sleep. Then sometimes when we are stressed, because we are changing the balance between neurotransmitters, we have these cravings for, let's say in a polite way, bad food or junk food. So be careful what you are eating, and be careful, be aware of these signals that you are craving for food that is not good for you, like usually sugar
as poison,
sometimes some substances like alcohol, and processed food. We really need to take care about that. Physical exercise is the most studied approach in terms of longevity, health span, and in terms of restoring and reducing our stress. And finally, try to find what makes sense for you in the example that I mentioned before, to disconnect. Can be seeding, all kind of plants, can be having animals, can be collecting coins, something that really disconnect you from thinking about future worries and so on.
Yeah.
That grounds you here in the present.
Thank you so much for your sharing your insight and practical wisdom with us. Thank you. Before we close, a quick reminder. Don't miss our upcoming event on the 24th of April here at the ZEM Wellness Clinic in Altea. You can find all the details and register at luxurylistings.es, and you can see the website in the screen or derijkstebelgen.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share, and let us know what topics you'd like to use to cover next. Thank you for watching Mediterranean Legacy Talks, and remember, resilience is a journey worth taking. Thank you.